D.S. McComber stated he was looking at images that contained nudity. Alexis, the cat's out of the bag. This member of law enforcement was allegedly looking at porn when he crashed the car.
Yeah, that sucked.
You hit a school bus?
Yeah, I'm good.
They back, the truck is up.
Hello, ma'am. Are you okay? I'm so sorry.
Why is moving like that now? All on Breezy family, how y'all doing today, man? It's all on Breezy's Life Too Easy. Come at y'all live via another reaction video. Boy, it's cold up in this motherfucker. I gotta stop cursing in my intros, but yeah, how y'all doing today? Today, we are on Law and Crime. Once again, y'all see the title. Florida deputy, Florida deputy watching porn crashes patrol car. Now, hey, bro, look, me personally, I think porn should be banned, honestly. You know what? No, because if that happens, then people would just be probably just raping women every day. It probably does happen every day, but not as much because men have porn. But I don't think that men coming up should watch that. If you are a grown adult, okay, that's you. But if you are a young kid and you want, well, that's besides the point. But how you gonna crash the car watching this?
That's just patrol.
We finna get into it.
Yeah, that sucked.
A Florida police officer is off the job after he crashed his patrol car while watching, let's just say,
like
things he definitely shouldn't.
How you even tell whoever came to your aid? How do you end up telling them that? Because it's on your body cam, obviously, as we're about to see. So you can't even lie about it. Like, how do you? I was like, hey, bro, I was just watching porn and I crashed that bitch. You was watching what?
Should not have been watching at that time. Newly released body cam footage shows the deputy's reaction to the accident.
Don't tell me.
Internal investigation report shows he came clean before resigning. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber.
The airbags and everything went off, boy.
28-year-old Tristan McComber was a deputy with the Lake County, Florida Sheriff's Office, and he apparently crashed his patrol vehicle into the back of another car that was stopped for a school bus. And after that, what did he do? He subsequently decided to quit instead of being fired. Now you might be saying, wait a second, Jesse, why would he quit? It's probably an accident, right? Why would he quit over this? You see, the fact that he crashed isn't the reason he was the subject of an internal investigation. No, it's because of what he was doing just before the accident. And to talk more about that, I'm going to bring in Alexis Rosenberg, trial attorney, federal litigator, to talk more about this. Thanks so much for coming here on Sidebar. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Now, before I get your reaction to all of this, I want to play a little bit of the body cam video. So the audio doesn't come in until just after McComber rear ends the car, but you can tell he has something in his right hand, and that looks like a phone.
I'm sorry, I'm over here looking for a jacket. Cleaning lady done came move all my.
You can tell he has something in his right hand, and that looks like a phone.
You're like, you know how hard you gotta crash for the airbags to go off? You know you I would have just been like, man, and just threw the phone, man, and ran.
911 assist call will not be made by sync.
2980 County 65 Signal 4.
And how you even tell your wife, oh, I lost my job?
You can use Creston and County Road 435. I'm going to be involved. There's going to be Signal 16.
Yeah, you already know what's going to happen.
10-4.
So this accident happened back in November in Sorrento, Florida, around 1:30 in the afternoon. Then Deputy McComber hit the other car hard enough to deploy his airbag, which of course would leave anybody disoriented. But he gets out of the patrol car and eventually reaches down to pick up, again, his phone from the floorboard.
Gosh darn it. Yeah, that sucked.
You hit a school bus?
Yeah, I'm good.
Hey man, if that was me, like, can you get paid from that? Boy, I would have been in there like, oh, my neck. Boy, I'm holding everything. My neck, my back, everything, everything. My spinal, my trachea. I would have yelled everything, boy. Get the ambulance now. Get them now. They back, the truck is up.
Hello, ma'am. Are you okay? I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
My brain's locked up.
Okay.
You good?
I was like, oh my goodness, wait. Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay. Do you just want to pull
Yeah,
off right
should I
here?
pull for more? Okay.
Just to make sure you're out of the turn lane.
Yeah.
Just make sure you're out of the turn lane.
You could
That
hear
was
McComber
me.
say that his
Boy.
brakes locked up, seemingly blaming that for why he couldn't stop in time. And we don't know if the driver of that car was injured in any way, but she appeared to be conscious.
See,
alert,
that's
and
your problem.
was talking with her. So Alexis, let me bring
You should have been over there faking. I would have been outside the car on the ground.
you in here. You know, what's your reaction to that video?
Reaction.
First thoughts.
When you first look at the video, you're not really sure what he's grabbing for the movement. You really have to focus in on the video to see, as you mentioned, that there's a phone that he is grabbing for. So you don't know that he necessarily was doing anything inappropriate.
And we will get into what seemingly really did
Like,
cause
bro.
this crash. And oh boy, is it something. But before we get into that, you know, his reaction, disoriented, he's relatively calm considering he knows he's at fault for what just happened though, right?
Well, he knew what he was doing, even though
Yeah.
it wasn't at first glance so evident in the video. But he definitely knew, which we later find out, that he was doing something inappropriate. He shouldn't have been doing that. As well as in the video, we can see that he jumped out of the car and it doesn't appear he had his seatbelt even on.
Ah, and yes, we will talk about that a little bit more. So McComber
These are people that y'all employing.
into dispatch, and an investigator came out to document the scene. According to an internal report, McComber told officials that he had just finished up a phone call with another deputy when he'd seen the sedan stopped in the road for a school bus on the other side of the street with its lights flashing. He claims the brakes on his patrol car locked up, and McComber also told officials that the ABS light on his dashboard had been lit up since he had some calibrations done on the speedometer. Here is the problem with that. An investigator looked back at that body cam video that we were just playing you and saw that McComber was looking at something on his phone when he crashed. So what was he looking at?
How can you
Well,
even tell?
Let's start with this. So we got our hands on the internal report, which details how an investigator followed up with McComber the day after the crash to ask him about the fact that you could see he was looking at something on his phone. It reads, quote, DS McComber advised me that he was traveling behind the vehicle and had just finished a phone call with DS Hoffman. He went on to say that he was scrolling through text messages on his phone from a group text with his Sector 3 colleagues just prior to the crash. He stated he was not sending text messages when the crash occurred. After speaking with DS McComber, I reviewed the videos again. DS McComber's right hand comes down into view of the body-worn camera, and you can see the screen of the cell phone. On the screen of the phone, you can see that DS McComber is viewing a picture or a video at the time of the crash, and he was not scrolling through text messages. Upon further review, you can see DS McComber exit the patrol vehicle at approximately, and it gives the timestamp there, and there is no evidence of him removing his seatbelt. He looks back into his patrol vehicle, and you can see the driver's seatbelt is latched and tied against the seat. It appears that the seatbelt was latched behind his back and not being utilized at the time of the crash. So then, the investigator follows up with McComber's usual supervisor, who told him there were no videos or photographs in the group chat between him and the other Sector 3 members like McComber had said. So at this point, McComber is written up for 3 violations of department policy. One is,
First of all, I don't even know why you. All right, y'all, my bad.
when it was clear he was looking at some sort of image. It wasn't.
Wait, is that where I stopped?
Another is use of safety belt. So the first departure.
Bro, okay, so certain use of electronic handheld. Oh, so they can't even use their phones. Departure from the truth. That's just funny how they phrase that. Departure from the truth. I mean, it's true. He wasn't telling the truth. He did depart from it. And the use of safety belt. That's what I'm saying. Like, man, see, you mean to tell me if I get pulled over, like, bro, you can go with a cop saying because they got the authority, but these niggas don't even follow the law themselves. Nigga watching porn while his seatbelt is not on, and then he crashed into somebody else. That could have been an elderly lady, and she could have just been over with from that crash, okay? Thank God it wasn't. But I'm saying, like, bro, this is why I'm like, police are human too. In a way that's okay, you gotta treat them human, but a certain way, but also in a certain light, like, I'm not, like, they got the authority, so it's kind of like whatever they say goes. But if you see stuff like this happen, you human too, bro. So that means you could be in the wrong when you trying to tell me something. So, because police just be feeling like they just always right. Certain police, not all, you know.
Devices prohibited, and another is use of safety belt. So the first,
departure from the truth,
because he said he was viewing text from the group chat when it was clear he was looking at some sort of image. It wasn't the group chat. And they don't even know what exactly those images or image is as of yet. Now, as we wonder whether or not Mr. McComber may need a great lawyer, let me tell you about Law and Crime's exclusive personal injury law firm, Morgan & Morgan, our great...
Hold on, was he watching it or did he get like a message from his wife or something like that? Still, you probably shouldn't be looking at that, you know, even if your wife did send you a little something. I hope that was the case, man, because if she realizes, if she finds out that you lost your job and you quit, well, they said you would have got fired anyway. If you lost your job because you was watching porn, driving, and you crashed into somebody, how you gonna tell somebody that? Like, if I told my girlfriend that, I don't think she would break up with me, but it would be a problem, you know?
Injured, you can easily start a claim at forthepeople.com/LC sidebar. Alexis, talk to me about these violations and talk to me about the fact that how many times in your career does one person say something and yet the digital evidence, the body cam, the cell phone, it tells the true story of what's going on.
But the thing is, it's like he didn't even have to, like, why did you say your coworkers? Like, I mean, I understand that because they're not supposed to be on their phone, so they're looking at a text that's work related. Yeah, I mean, damn. Because it's like you got the body cam on you, so you can't even really lie for it. You on camera, bro.
First, let's just say liar, liar, pants on fire. You would think he would know better. Also, he knows the policies and procedures, and he knows that if there's an accident in a police car, that they are going to go back, do an investigation. They're going to look at body cam. They're going to look at dashboard cam. I just don't even see how he thought he was going to get away with this. But I mean, now that videos are
you can get away with, in my mind, you can get away with anything if you really smart about it, and you gotta be, you know, a little bit of luck too.
Prevalent, and that we have them so many times in court cases and investigations, workers' comp investigations. They're so prevalent. You should just assume they exist, because that is really going to speak volumes. If we didn't have that, nobody probably would have even suspected that this was anything but what he was saying.
Yeah, and talk to me about the violations, because my understanding is even if he hadn't resigned, and we haven't even talked about what was on the phone yet, if he hadn't resigned, just the fact that he wasn't wearing the safety belt, was looking at something on his phone, was not being honest, that would have been grounds for him to be fired, right?
It would, but most police departments have a union, and there is a pretty long and in-depth policy and procedure to enable them to actually be fired. A lot of times we'll hear they're put on administrative leave during an investigation. So a full-on investigation in those processes, his due process he would have a right to. So it wouldn't be simply that they did those violations and then they would turn around and say, fire him the next day. But based on what we know from this video and what has come out, and it does appear that they do have a valid reason for termination.
So now we go back to the investigative report, okay? And it states on November 12, 2024, D.S. McComber was served with his subject officer notification and given a copy of the officer's Bill of Rights. On November 19th, this detective received a copy of the Sector 3 text group messages for the date of the crash. The group's text messages contain no memes or videos, again saying that he wasn't being honest about what he was looking at. On November 20th, 2024, this detective met with D.S. McComber at the Office of Professional Standards to complete an interview. D.S. McComber was given time to review the case file prior to any questioning. D.S. McComber was read his administrative notification and he agreed to tell the truth. Real quick, Alexis, this is all to show
But he departed
that he has
from
his
it.
due process rights that are being
Crazy.
adhered to, right? You know, he's been given notice, he's been given a copy. That's what this is all about, right?
Correct. They're following the procedure in order to be able to ultimately, if they make a determination, terminate him appropriately.
Got it. Okay, so now it goes on to say, D.S. McComber stated that he was on the phone with D.S. Hoffman prior to the vehicle crash, but he was on his personal phone after that phone call looking at inappropriate pictures. D.S. McComber was asked to clarify what he meant by inappropriate pictures, and he stated pornographic material like boobs or whatnot. It actually says that, like boobs or whatnot. D.S. McComber stated he was looking at images that contained nudity. Alexis, the cat's out of the bag. This member of law enforcement was allegedly looking at porn when he crashed the car. Does it get any worse than that?
Well, he was specifically looking at boobies while he crashed the car. I mean, there are so many things wrong with this. You know, he, like you mentioned, he doesn't have the seatbelt on. He's looking at porn. He's not paying attention. Ultimately, he hits a car that was stopped for a bus. So we're at a bus stop or in a school zone. You know, he's not.
That's what I'm saying. How fast was you going? You had to be going pretty fast if you just didn't see a parked car with their hazards on. I think that's what it said with the hazards on, but like, if you got to be going pretty fast and you're really looking, you're really focused. Because I feel like if you're on your phone, and I shouldn't be doing this, but I do it. I'll be like on YouTube sometimes. I'll be driving my watching my. I can't talk. I'll be on YouTube while I'm driving, so I'll be looking at my phone. Look at the every second, like every other second, you look up. How long would I mean? Some things happen quick. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like if she would stop there. I think it said with the hazards on. You don't just stop and then put your hazards on immediately. You stop and you've been sitting there for probably like a minute or so. Or like an extended amount of time. So that means that you really had to have been looking at that and then crash. And you in the school zone too. So it's like, how fast was you going to crash into the back? Like, I've rear-ended somebody, but my airbags didn't go off. Like, my was straight. And I hit them pretty hard, you feel me? Like, we was going fast. Well, it was enough force to actually feel something, you know? So I'm assuming and my airbag didn't go off. Nah, I don't know if every car is different, but you had this on the front of your to protect your car, you feel me? So if you hit something and your airbags went off like that, bro, you must have really been looking at your phone. I'm just thinking, I don't know if I'm right, but I'm just thinking you must have been looking at your phone for a little minute. You was focused on them titties. If you hit the person in front of you and your airbags went on.
It appears like any of the policies
And they just say he in the school. Bro, you doing a whole lot of bullshit.
that he is mandated to do it and has no concern for public safety either.
And what's scary is he could have killed someone. He really could have killed someone. We talk about distracted driving all the time. You mentioned to me prior that she could theoretically have a lawsuit against the police department and him, right?
It would have been.
Well, she most likely is going to.
God lets this happen to the right people, because I'm trying to tell you, I would have been sprawled out in a goddamn X on the goddamn street. Somehow I would have flew out the window.
Hopefully she wasn't hurt.
Somehow.
But I'm assuming because the airbags deployed that there was a decent amount of damage that was done to both of the cars, because the deployment of the airbag does require a certain amount of force. So at a minimum, the repair of the car, more, injuries that she possibly sustained or anybody else that may have been in that car could have sustained, there would be potential lawsuit against the police department.
Now, in his interview, McComber continued to talk about the ABS and the traction control in the patrol car, reiterating that the lights came on after the speedometer calibrations he had just done. But DS McComber, quote, stated the information in his report concerning the ABS and traction control lights being on was more of a deflection than a genuine reason for the vehicle crash. DS McComber stated that he had those lights come on before in his other department-issued vehicles, and there had never been a problem with the brakes before this incident. DS McComber advised he never tested his brakes prior to the vehicle crash that day, even though he had plenty of time and distance to do so before the vehicle crash. Lexus, what do you make of that?
Well, I mean, I think it's interesting that he decided at this point that he was going to be truthful when he was going down that road of lies. I think that it's possible that there was some sort of talk or agreement that he would resign and admit to his wrongdoings. I just think for him to come clean at this point, there may have been something else going on there.
And McComber, of course, knew he was being dishonest in his report because he told the investigator, DS McComber stated that he knew he was looking at inappropriate pictures, which was the leading cause of the crash. And he deliberately left that information out of his report. He stated that it's called lying by omission. And he further said he knows that one all too well. I mean, I don't mean to laugh, but my gosh, what are we talking about here? And it says DS McComber was asked about a meeting with Sergeant Walls and what they discussed. He was explicitly asked if he lied to Sergeant Walls when he said he was looking at text messages in the Sector 3 group chat, and he said, yes, sir. DS McComber further stated that he knew he was lying to Sergeant Walls during their conversation. DS McComber was asked about wearing his seatbelt during the vehicle crash, and he stated he did not. He stated he believes it more tactically sound not to be seatbelted while on patrol. He stated that it has been his standard practice to not wear a seatbelt, but he knows he should do so according to policy and state statute. Alexis, by the way, talking about potential charges, could he be fined under Florida law for not wearing a seatbelt?
He could be fined for not wearing a seatbelt. Also, he could be charged with, hindering an investigation because he was lying during an investigation, lying on, the public records under oath. If it was under oath when they were doing this investigation, I'm not quite sure. So there are things that he could possibly be charged with.
Bro.
The likelihood is that he most likely is not going to be charged with them, and it was part of the agreement having to do with him resigning. Now, that being said, in Florida, ultimately, it is the state attorney and not the police that determine whether someone's going to officially be charged with a crime and what that official charge would be.
What is the charge?
But the likelihood is that this isn't going to go any further. My concern is, though, how many other times has he lied or not?
No. Look, at this point, that don't even matter. He's lied. Okay, we in the present moment now. It don't even matter if he lied before. Okay, it is what it is. Unless he lied about some crazy shit, like a woman got raped and he knows who it was, and he ain't telling. I ain't really lying, but you ain't telling the truth. Feel me? But like, unless it's something like that, we ain't even gotta talk about this. We in this situation right now.
Previous to this incident, because he seems to have a complete disregard. He knows he's been trained on what they are, and he doesn't care. He's pretty much doing whatever he wants to do.
Let's talk about that for a second. Are you saying that in cases of police misconduct, that they're old cases that might not even be related to this, where he testified, where he investigated something, they could be reopened by defense attorneys and say,
you can't tell me she don't kind of look like Wendy Williams right here.
Trust this guy anymore. This whole case is tainted. Is that something that defense attorneys could be looking at right now?
I think that going backwards is probably won't go that open. I don't think it's going to be a basis necessarily to reopen, because he wasn't wearing a seatbelt and he's looking at porn while driving, reopening past cases. But I do think that the credibility issue on cases going forward, which he would have to testify on, the court could possibly let it in, because it does go towards honesty and his credibility, and letting that in and saying that what he says and what is contained in previous reports may lack credibility.
Well, in conclusion, the report states DS McComber admitted to knowingly lying in his original report. He also admitted to lying to Sergeant Walls about the incident. D.S. McComber stated he was looking at pornographic material on his personal phone just before the vehicle crash. He further advised that he was not wearing his seatbelt during the vehicle crash, which was his standard practice. And so McComber was facing termination, instead decided to resign, and he had been on the force since 2021 when the sheriff had welcomed him with a photo on the department's Facebook page. Alexis, thanks so much for coming on. Really appreciate your insight. What a case to talk about. This was not one that I was prepared for, but really appreciate your insight as always.
Thank you for having me.
All right, everybody, that's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
I ain't gonna hold you, bro. I don't know what you gonna tell your girl. Hey, bro, I hope you're able to get another job or something like it's, if you didn't bring your phone across your body, bro, you probably would have been good. They probably just thinking it was some, I mean, I don't know. I mean, but they did say they checked, you know, the group message, and there wasn't the stuff in there that you said was in there. I don't know, man. You might have just come up with a better lie besides saying it was that. Like, why would you say that when they could easily check in the group chat? That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I wouldn't. Hey, bro, everybody different, but I hope y'all enjoyed the video.
They look at me and they making assumptions. I'll be the type to go stay in the function. She in my line, my number one munch. She like the way that I pull up and punch. I like to fill up my days with production, and then when the night comes, filled with seduction. Can't shake that feeling. I walk out on stage, I look at the crowd, these bitches is joking. Keeping it cool, but I've been getting paid. I'm making it rain, I'm hauling they pain. Jumping the pool with my baby today. She won't go crazy, won't be my lady. Comfortable keeping my life on the low. She wanna post all the pick us on up. Don't wanna elevate, you gotta go. We can't be out here not chasing our goals. No, I ain't changed from no. I guess my past is slow. Yeah, I got my ass on the soul. Yeah. How do I got all this motion? I'm trying to stay mellow. Put on a show in the garden, I'm feeling like mellow. Think that I'm talking about like I'm double D and ghetto. Now on the topic, I've been on my foot on the pedal. I started going my own way. Learned how to carry my own weight. My time was coming, so I started running. Just walked on coming, I ain't saying nothing. Back in the 7 good, I was just bumming. And now I be thumbing it out in the gun. Give me a medal, I'm getting it done. She asking my high like a mellow or something. Daddy be minding my business, they saying hello. Treating this life like a game, I just beat this level. Truly, I know that I'm blessed, I be feeling special. If you want to talk about hits, then I'm having several. I'm on a late night talk show, something like that low. I'm grabbing all the boys, you get in the elbow. My niggas been making noise, get you thinking the memo. Yeah. Right when I talk, they repeat what I say, I'm hearing the echo. Yeah. Haven't been hitting the club, I'd rather go chill in the meadow. Shawty treat me like a king, I like being a pharaoh. I like being a pharaoh, and I can't never settle. My girl one day ain't she cool. I'm trying to pick out yellow or blue. How do I got all this motion, I'm trying to stay mellow. Put on a show in the garden, I'm feeling like mellow. Think that I'm talking about like I'm double D and ghetto. Now on the topic, I've been on my foot on the pedal. I started going my own way. Learned how to carry my own weight. My time was coming, so I started running. Just walked on coming, I ain't saying nothing. Back in the 7 good, I was just bumming. And now I be thumbing it out in the gun. Give me a medal, I'm getting it done. She asking my high like a mellow or something.